certificate test. For example, 2 weeks ago, we made a reading, which was this one, right?
Yeah.
And last week, we made, no, 2 weeks ago, we made a listening. Yeah, this was the listening,
The
right?
the science video.
Exactly. Vaccination, immunization, remember? All the words that were about medicine. Then we made the reading, and now we're gonna go through another listening test. Okay? For that, of course, we're going to use some vocabulary that is going to be useful for the exercise. Let's go through them, through these words, and the idea is that you try to explain the word and give me an example. Okay? Let's start with the first word, which is of one's own. Oh, yeah. Of one's own. Let's start with this definition. I am looking in the Collins Dictionary because now this is a dictionary that contains a lot of chunks, a lot of phrases. So this one is a very good one. Help me with this one, Isaac.
Yes, definition of one's own. If you say that someone has a particular thing of their own, you mean that thing belongs or relates to them rather than other people. And the example is, you see, we have a problem of our own.
That's right. That's right. Can you explain this expression?
Yeah, well, I can try.
You can. You can. You can. Believe in yourself.
If you say that something has a particular thing of their own, you mean that the thing belongs or relates to them. I don't understand that it's something like is when you are talking about something that is maybe uh, I'm trying to find a different word that belongs, but see,
Okay.
I think that it's something like uh, similar to when you I think that is something related to possession, but also when you maybe do something by yourself, maybe you write
Oh,
a book or maybe just something like you write by your own. I don't know if it makes sense or something like this.
okay. That you are precisely correct, but in the expression by your own, it's very different to
Yes.
say by than of.
Okay. Okay.
This mini detail changes the full idea.
Okay.
Different, 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 different. You were closer when you said belongs. Um, Try to use the word have or possess. How would you use that?
Okay. Maybe maybe when you if you say maybe when you possess something, maybe let me think for an example.
Mhm.
Um, or just maybe my parent.
Mhm.
He said something. Yes, my parent built the house of build his house of his own, maybe.
Okay, very nice. Build. Repeat. My parents.
My parents built their house of their own. It could be.
All right, you repeated there. The first there can be substituted by an article. A house.
Okay.
Correction?
My parent, I don't remember the sentence. My parents their uh, built a house by their own.
By.
But no, sorry, of their own.
Exactly, of their own. That's correct. Because it's different. The difference between of my own and by my own is alone. Yes. And of my own is I possess this object. This
Yeah.
is mine. Technically, this is another form to use pronouns, possessive pronouns. If the cell phone is mine, I have a cell phone of my own. The car is mine. I have a car of my own. And your parents built a house of their own. That's precisely talking about possessives. Good.
Okay. Yes, it's a little complicated.
Yeah, you need to select your connectors. That's the key.
Yes.
The key here. That was good. Very nice. Let's pass to the next one. Go. Michael. Yeah, this is the definition.
As well, in additional to the museum.
In additional, it doesn't say additional again.
In addition to, the
Exactly.
museum provides hours on the phone and a few surprise as well. I think that well is a kind of also or add.
Exactly. Similar to also. Very good. Very, very good. Can you give me an example?
Okay. I take the English class and practice my listening English as well.
Exactly. Very good. Very, very good example. So you can listen, but also practice, for example, speaking as well, no?
Mhm.
Similar to say to. Very nice. Let's go to the next one. Go. Sylvie. Can you speak, Sylvie?
No, I think that
She's on the bus, right?
Yes.
All right. So then go. Rafa.
Pry.
Exactly. Pry.
Pry.
Definition.
Okay. Pry into something. To try to find out information about other people's private lives in a way that is unknown or
Uh-oh. Information about what?
about other people's private lives.
Pronunciation.
Private.
Exactly.
Private.
Okay.
More time.
Private lives. Okay. To try to find out information about other people's private lives in a way that is annoying or rude.
That's right. Do you understand annoying?
Well, I suppose is an synonym of rude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like probably rude, but a little bit different because annoying is something that provokes annoying or annoy. What is to annoy? The sensation you have when there is an insect flying around you. You're like, oh, the
Uncomfortable.
Exactly, yes. That's correct. Okay. So a little different, again, uncomfortable and annoying is a little different because uncomfortable is like physical and annoying is emotion.
Okay.
Got it? Then if a person is trying to find information about you in an annoying way, like stalking, the person is prying.
Okay, it's like a police office
Yes. Yes, 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 yes.
when he's in a in a
Sorry.
interrogative. Yeah. Yeah.
Interrogatory. Precisely.
Okay.
That's prying and annoying.
Okay. Thank you.
So, give me an example.
An example.
Yes.
For example, uh, after my last relationship,
Mhm.
my ex-girlfriend uh, was so prying. Yeah,
Yes, of course. Eliminate so. Extra information.
was prying.
Was prying what?
Was prying over me
Over me. Oh, right. You are not paying attention to the chunk. Collocation. Look over here.
into something.
Exactly. The connector that you need is into. Check the examples and you have prying into.
Ah,
You see?
into my social media.
Perfect. Complete idea.
Okay. So is after my last relationship, my ex-girlfriend was was prying into my social media.
Exactly. That is correct.
Okay, thank
Very
you.
good example. Very, very nice. All right, let's go to the next one. Go, Robert.
Mm, Shorten.
Yes.
Shorten.
Shorten. Make something shorter to become shorter. Mm, to make something shorter to become shorter. Okay, injury problems. Injury problems could shorten his career.
Mhm.
Hmm. A short version of the name. Okay, okay.
Do you understand?
I think so. For example, um, you you can take a shortened highway to arrive early.
If you say shorten highway, you are using shorten. Analyze the example. What family, what word family is shortened in your example?
How you can no, you can no you take. ¿Qué dije? A ver, nada.
Okay, repetition in no Spanish.
Ah, yeah. You take shortened highway.
You take shorten highway. Aha. Think about shorten highway. What word family corresponds to shorten in this case?
Family shortened in this case. Transitive, intransitive.
Shorten highway. You are describing the highway.
Yeah, noun.
But nouns are not descriptions. What family is a description?
No? Okay. Descriptions. Adjectives.
Adjectives. And shorten is not an adjective.
Ah, it's a verb.
So you cannot use it as an adjective.
Okay.
You see? Look at the example.
Injury problems.
If you think of person, verb, complement,
Uh-huh.
what's the person, what's the verb, and then what's the complement?
In this example, injury, the problems is the person,
Uh-huh.
shorten is the verb, and the complement is his career.
Watch out. Watch out. The person is injury problems.
Injury
It.
problems.
The verb is not only shorten, it's could shorten because you remember that the modal verb is part of the verb.
Okay.
Right? And then the complement. So if you have the word shorten as a verb, think of a word that you are using as a verb, where you are using it as a verb.
You're gonna word. Okay.
To make something short.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. A ver, to arrive early.
To arrive early.
You can shorten.
Shorter is not shorter, two different words.
Shorten.
Okay. Arrive early, you can shorten.
This highway. This highway.
This highway.
Or
Can you make the highway shorter? Robert?
Yeah, I'm thinking.
But my question, can you make the highway shorten? Do you have the faculty to cut a piece of highway and eliminate
No.
the piece of highway? So that's not possible.
Okay.
You see, to make shorter is, or to shorten something, is to take a piece of something and delete it, like literally make it small.
You cut shorter.
You make it shorter.
Okay.
So what can you make shorter?
A piece of cake, for example.
A piece of cake. No, because short is for distance. Distance and time.
Okay. Time, no? Okay. To arrive early, you can take shorter. Okay. To arrive early.
Okay.
You can take early the bus or the subway. Okay.
Okay, and shorten.
Ay, no lo dije. You arrive early.
Watch out. Shorten is not synonym of early, eh?
No. Yeah, I know. But I try to say that, or I understand that shorten. How can I say it? Is to short the time, or in my example.
Watch out. Short is not a verb. To make short Yeah, it's not. You cannot say to short the time. You need to say to make short the time. But even though we have a problem again because you cannot make short the time. You make short. You make short a piece of pants, for example. When the pants are very long, you need to shorten the legs. When a movie is very long, in the television, you get the shortened version of the movie. When the book is very, very long, you can take the shortened version too, or you can read a you can shorten it for another person. You see? So the word shorten is when you modify something so it becomes shorter,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Okay.
To shorten something. A good example that we can take is, let's say,
Resume something.
all right, in English, resume is not similar to Spanish resumir. Resume is similar to continue. The word that you are looking for is to summarize.
Okay, summary. Summary is
Summary is the concept.
Mhm.
Summarize is the verb. Summarize can be a synonym for shorten. Precisely. Right?
Okay.
So, do you understand or do you don't understand? Big questions? What's happening?
No, I think so that I understand, but I try to think a example.
Okay. Probably you need some inspiration. So, who can help Robert making an example?
For example, I have an it's a well, I have cancer. This shortened my life.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
It was the first example.
It was something dramatic.
Super dramatic, man. I didn't expect that. Oh my god. Okay, well, that's not incorrect. I mean, grammatically, and yeah, that's correct. Oh my god, that was very very tough. Family. If you have family acceptable examples, that's much better. Very good, man. Very good. Shorten my life. Okay. Cigarettes. Cigarettes can shorten your life.
Yeah, this is a
Yes.
soft example.
It's a soft version. Okay. Silvana has something in the chat, teacher. It could be something like on Mondays, the day is long and my happiness short. Kinda, but no, because similar to Robert Sylvie, you're confusing short with shorten. The word short is a description, the word shorten is a verb. Probably you can say, okay, yes, Robert.
The subway is shorter than the bus.
Shorter.
Shorter,
No, shorter. Not shorten. You said the subway is shorter than the bus. Actually, it's the contrary, no? The bus is shorter than the subway. But you are using shorter, the description.
Not like a verb, okay.
You need a verb, shorten.
Mhm.
You see? Try to explore that example and make some examples for homework. Try to research on that. Okay? So let's pass to the next one. Help me, Isaac.
Shrink.
Yes, sir.
I think that is something that happened to
Shrink.
Yes.
oh no, I wish to become smaller, especially when shrink. To become smaller, especially when washed in water.
Sorry, to become what again?
Sorry,
To become what?
or to become smaller.
Smaller. Watch out with the pronunciation.
Okay. Shrink to become smaller, especially when washed into water that is too hot to make clothes. Cloth, and it's I don't remember, etc., etc.,
Oh, this is very similar to Spanish,
etc.
etc. Usually, when you have eta, you pronounce da 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 da, etc.
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 You see?
Okay, etc. Small in this way. Oh yes, I think that I understand this.
Perfect. Give me an example.
Is it a verb? Yes, right.
Precisely. Exactly.
Yes. For example, my sweater got no. My sweater is it a regular verb?
It's irregular.
Regular.
Shrink, shrank, shrunk.
Oh, shrunk. Okay.
Yeah.
My sweater shrank when
Correct.
I try into the no. How say secadora? I don't know how to say secadora.
Okay, you are talking about how do you say seco?
No, I don't remember actually.
All right. Okay. Transition. Opposite of wet,
Dry.
dry. And the machine that dries something is a dryer.
Dryer.
Mhm.
Dryer. Okay, I could say I think I could say my sweater shrank. Cause how was the past? Shrank.
Memory.
Yes.
Memory. If it's shrink, actually,
Shrank.
in the previous level,
Yeah.
I showed everybody. No, like 2 levels ago, I showed my beginners a strategy to remember past participles, especially when you're talking about irregulars. It's a group of words that follow a specific pattern. Yes, this specific word goes with words similar to swim, swam, swum. You see that
Okay,
the
yes.
phonetic is like I-A-O,
Yeah.
right? So swim, swam, swum, shrink, shrank, shrunk. You see?
Okay.
The same.
Shrank. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Where I see my sweater shrank
Right. Your sweater shrank.
when I put in the dryer.
Put what?
Sorry.
Put what? When you have the verb put, you need an object.
When I put it in the dryer. So repetition. Could I use it?
Yes.
So
Yes,
my
exactly.
sweater shrank when I put it on the in the dryer.
When I put it in the dryer, exactly. That sounds good. My sweater shrunk when I put it. Put it. That's great.
Yes.
We are going to speak about transitive verbs this week. Precisely when a verb needs something after it. Precisely. The verb put is one example of them. All right. Very good. Next. Pronunciation. Go. Rafa.
Emerge,
Yes, sir.
emerge,
emerge. To move out of or away. To move out or far away from something and become possible to see. Oh, I think it's like a turtle,
Okay, what happens to the
or
turtle?
like a lobster.
Okay, what happens to the lobster?
Well, lobsters lives in crops. No, in
Groups?
crop cavernas.
Oh, okay. They're caves. In caves.
Caves. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. That's it.
lobsters live in caves, and then
Lobster lives in caves, and and they emerge. Or emerge from something.
ah,
Emerge. Yeah, yeah. Lobsters emerge of the caves
off incorrect connector.
from caves. Sorry.
Exactly. Yeah, that's correct. Very good. Lobsters emerge from caves. That's correct. They are possible to, or it's possible to see them when they go out. No?
Yeah.
Totally correct. Very good. Next. Let's go with the next. Michael.
Drop.
Yes, sir.
Drop.
But we are going to use, yes, this is the verb, and we need fall down. This is the word that we need.
To become or make something weaker, lower, or less. Okay.
I'm going to help you with this.
Uh-huh.
We are talking, the context of this is statistics.
Okay, in this case, maybe the dollar
Very good
has
example.
dropped than peso.
Has dropped than peso. This is not a comparative. No.
Okay, the
It's
dollar has dropped.
exactly. Recently. I would say has dropped recently.
Okay.
Okay. Very good. Why? Because the price goes down. The price fell. This is the best synonym for the word. Fall, fell, fallen, drop, dropped, dropped. Synonyms. Good job, man. Next, Robert. Go with this one.
Compression.
This one.
Unprecedented.
Very good.
Unprecedented.
Excellent.
That has never happened, been done, or been known before.
Pronunciation happen in past participle?
Happened.
Exactly.
That has never happened, been done, or been known before.
Never.
Ah,
So what is unprecedented? Give me an example.
the COVID was unprecedented.
Exactly. Pronunciation?
Unprecedented. Unprecedented.
Exactly. One more time.
Unprecedented.
No, the complete idea, the sentence.
Ah,
Yes, of
the
course.
COVID was unprecedented.
Sounds good. Sounds totally good. Perfect. Let's go to the next. We are going to go this one, but we need the verb. Okay, pronunciation. Isaac.
Equal.
That's right.
Equal.
Equal. Linking verb plus noun to be the same inside quality, value, etc. as something else. Do you want me to read the examples?
Yes, of course. So you can know how to use it.
2x plus y equals 7. It's like a how to say how to say equation in English?
Equation.
It's an equation.
Yes. It's an equation. So
Okay.
technically, the way you read this equation
Yes.
is like this. This is the reading.
Okay.
You see? Because you have the verb plus.
Yes.
Plus it corresponds to this one, and this symbol corresponds to equals.
Yeah.
You see?
Yes. Okay.
That's the way we use it. In terms of mathematics, we use it like this. But we are going to use definition number. Yeah, definition number 2.
Equals something. To be as good as something else or do something to the same standards as somebody else. This achievement is unlikely ever to be equaled.
Equal in past?
Equal?
Exactly, equaled.
Okay, equal. Okay, what is hatred?
Great question. Hatred. When you hate something, the sensation, the feeling is hatred.
Okay.
You know?
Her hatred of religion is equaled only by her loathing for politicians. And the last one, with his last jump, he equaled the world record. Okay, let me think on an example.
Collocation. Let me think of an example.
Okay. Let me think of an example. Or maybe. Oh, well, I'm not sure if it's true, but maybe a new bicycle has a new bicycle equals the speed of a new one.
Great, wow. What a beautiful example, It gives me motivation to fix my old bicycle. That's a good example. Very nice. Equals. Excellent. Be careful, He, she, it equals. I equal, you equal, he, she, it equals.
Yes.
Right? Very good. While we check the next one, let's go with Jesse because Jesse will pass attendance. So please, meanwhile, check the definition. Go, Jesse.
Yes, thank you.
Hello.
So, hi. Is here Mike?
Yeah, here.
Hi, Mike. Good night. Thank you. Robert?
Here.
Yes.
Hi, Robert. Thank you. Good night. Rafael?
Hello, yes, I'm here.
Hi, Rafael. Good night. Thank you. Silvana?
I'm here, Jessie. Thank you.
To you, Silvana. Good night. Isaac?
Here.
Hi, Isaac. Thank you.
Hello. Thanks.
Jesus?
Jesus absent.
No, all right. Gabriel?
And Gabriel absent.
All right. So that's all. Thank you, everyone.
Great.
Have a good night.
Have a good night. See you later. Hey, can you send a message to Gabriel?
Yes. Yes, I will.
Thank you very much. All right. Pronunciation, Michael.
Industrious? No. Industrious?
Yes, sir.
Industrious.
Industrious.
Mhm. So what is industrious?
Working hard or busy?
That's right.
Hardworking.
So in this case, you know what is working hard, no?
Uh-huh.
This is very interesting because if you say a person is hardworking,
Mhm.
you can say that you can say it in a positive way, but it also can be a negative characteristics. For example, my dad is so hardworking, I never see him.
Okay.
That's very negative, no?
Uh-huh.
But if you call industrious a person, you are saying that this is super, super positive for that characteristic. That's the reason you have these parentheses. This parenthesis speaks approving or disapproving means that the description is very, very positive or very, very negative.
Okay.
You know? So this is a very positive description. What kind of person is industrious for you?
My sister is industrious.
Fantastic. Very good job. Excellent example. My sister is industrious, so in your opinion, she's a very, very hardworking woman in a positive way. Perfect. The next one. Sylvie, can you speak? Or next?
I'm walking, but
You're walking.
I don't know if you hear a lot of noise.
No problem. Go home. I don't want you to risk your life for an example. So don't participate.
Okay.
Just let me know
Thank
when you are at home. Let's go.
Thank you for the consideration.
Yes, of course. Rafa, action.
Talk while you are walking can shorten your life.
Exactly. So don't talk. Don't talk in this moment.
For example.
Shorten. Very good.
Venue,
Yeah, this Y or is not so strong. It's similar to say E.
venue,
Venue. New.
venue,
Yes.
Venue.
venue.
It's not like zzz, you know? No. You.
Okay. Venue.
What is venue?
Okay. A place where people meet for a organized
Pronunciation.
organized.
Organized.
Exactly.
A place where people meet for an organized event, for example, a concert, a sporting event, or conference.
That's right. What do you understand?
For example, the soccer World Cup was played at 8 different venues.
Very good. At 8 different venues. That's right, brother. Good job. Good job. Guys, this is your vocabulary for today. Let me just fix some size because it's very big. Probably in 2 columns. That's much better. Okay. This is the vocabulary that we studied today. Right? If the vocabulary was very difficult, I really strongly recommend that you make more examples and study using youglish.com so you can get more and more examples and you can understand finally. Now, I'm going to play the audio twice. One, so you can understand the vocabulary. Two, to respond the exercise. Okay? Let's go through the listening twice. In the exam, the audio goes twice too. So, of course, in the exam, no vocabulary is directly. But here you can get some expressions for a minute. Let's listen. 1, 2, 3, action.
The early 20th century was a time in America when people started to challenge the traditional values laid down by homes, schools, and the church. For the first time, women, as well as men, took jobs and had an income of their own, sometimes living away from home, away from the eyes of prying parents. At the same time, the working week shortened considerably, giving workers much more free time. Between 1901 and 1921, for example, the average working week dropped from 58.4 hours to 48.4 hours, an unprecedented decline which has, incidentally, not been equaled since. There was a quickly emerging middle class which demanded recreation, and a working class with an increased income and more leisure time. Meanwhile, new immigrant groups brought in waves of alternative recreational activities that had not been experienced before by the predominant white population. This led to a rise in what may be called commercial recreation, that is, a recreation industry that generated money. Prior to this, people made their own fun pursuits, such as reading, needlecraft, music, and so on. The religious middle classes had preached the values of self-control, moral integrity, and industriousness, and their leisure pursuits were supposedly to be morally upright and useful to society. It was these people who had founded museums, libraries, art galleries, and symphony orchestras in the late 1800s. Now there were increasing numbers of dance halls, theaters, cinemas, social clubs, and amusement parks. People frequented beaches, parks, and picnic areas where there were band pavilions and outdoor games. And they went to shows, circus shows, vaudeville theater, burlesque, and traveling fairs with daredevil rides. This hedonistic lifestyle more often not involved drinking alcohol and gave limitless opportunities for unsupervised socializing between the sexes, and the traditional long-established organizations, churches and so on, feared for the corruption of their youth. They had to respond, and respond they did. There was primarily a call for the new recreational establishments, the dance halls, bowling alleys, and pool parlors, to require permits in order to operate, which limited, to some extent, the spread of these new morally corruptible establishments. The traditional organizations also began to offer alternatives to the dance halls and theaters that would keep the populace, both young and old, in morally acceptable pursuits. Until that time, establishments such as schools, museums, libraries, and so on had closed for long periods of the year, such as throughout the summer holidays. But now they remained open all year round and began to promote organized activities such as sport, music, games, and drama in a bid to lessen the urge for unacceptable behavior. Schools began to run vacation clubs and an extensive range of extracurricular activities, especially in sports, publications, creating a school newspaper, and hobbies, chess, stamp collecting, and the like. This was also the era when voluntary organizations, such as the Boy Scouts, were set up to encourage healthy, active, and moral pursuits for children. The National Association of Boys was another. The Campfire Girls, the Girl Scouts, were others. Some had roots in the church, such as the St. John's Ambulance and the Boys' Brigade. For young adults, there was the YMCA, the Young Men's Christian Association, another religious group, and the YWCA for women. And there were also community service groups for adults, like the Rotary Club and Lions Club. Another important player at this time was the Playground Association of America. This was a national group led by Luther Halsey Gulick, which had the backing of the U.S. President, Roosevelt. The purpose of this was to assist people of all ages to use their recreation time to good effect. Remember that in the 18th century, children's play was not encouraged. children would get arrested for playing on the streets together. There were no established parks and playgrounds for children. The Playground Association of America, however, acknowledged that play was important and necessary, and a vital part of children's learning, but that it required effective leadership. The organization worked nationwide to develop playgrounds in towns and cities, and also put on recreational programs, as well as running courses to train adults in effective play leadership.
What's the audio about? Who can tell me? No? Okay, then what did you understand?
It was so long, but I
Yes.
think that it's focused on the recreation of the evolution of the recreation, and it considers the employees in early 90s, I think, how say 90, I don't remember the year, but they consider uh, employees and also the students or well, all the population, how things have been changing across the years,
Okay.
and the options that they have to, or their, as I say, that were created to with the purpose of creation, but
Yes.
there is not much that I can say.
Well, the global thing is precisely
Idea.
what you are talking about, the history of leisure. Do you
Yeah.
remember leisure? That was a word that
Yes.
we saw last week, right?
Yes.
So precisely, that's the global thing. The audio is about the history of free time, how American people used their free
Yeah.
times in the previous
Decadence,
decades.
maybe. Yes.
Yeah, the word decades. Decades is
Decades.
the word.
Yes.
That's right. So all this information, all these words are about that. If you read the questions, you will get something very similar. I'm gonna give you something. Please read. I'm gonna give you 1 minute. 1 minute to read the full questions, and you are going to answer these questions on a paper and send them to me via WhatsApp.
I don't have paper.
Then answer it on a note on your computer or your cell phone and pass them to me.
Yes, I have one right now.
Right? Whichever you
Teacher,
like. Yes, Rafa.
this is for tomorrow,
No, right
tomorrow
now.
homework or not?
No, in this moment, This is going to be a 4-minute activity. Ready?
Okay.
I'm going to
Yeah.
check if you are correct or not. So, 2 minutes to read the questions. Let's go. The exercise starts now.
The early 20th century was a time in America when people started to challenge the traditional values laid down by homes, schools, and the church. For the first time, women, as well as men, took jobs and had an income of their own, sometimes living away from home, away from the eyes of prying parents. At the same time, the working week shortened considerably, giving workers much more free time. Between 1901 and 1921, for example, the average working week dropped from 58.4 hours to 48.4 hours, an unprecedented decline which has, incidentally, not been equaled since. There was a quickly emerging middle class which demanded recreation, and a working class with an increased income and more leisure time. Meanwhile, new immigrant groups brought in waves of alternative recreational activities that had not been experienced before by the predominant white population. This led to a rise in what may be called commercial recreation, that is, a recreation industry that generated money. Prior to this, people made their own fun pursuits, such as reading, needlecraft, music, and so on. The religious middle classes had preached the values of self-control, moral integrity, and industriousness, and their leisure pursuits were supposedly to be morally upright and useful to society. It was these people who had founded museums, libraries, art galleries, and symphony orchestras in the late 1800s. Now there were increasing numbers of dance halls, theaters, cinemas, social clubs, and amusement parks. People frequented beaches, parks, and picnic areas where there were band pavilions and outdoor games. And they went to shows, circus shows, vaudeville theater, burlesque, and traveling fairs with daredevil rides. This hedonistic lifestyle more often not involved drinking alcohol and gave limitless opportunities for unsupervised socializing between the sexes, and the traditional long-established organizations, churches and so on, feared for the corruption of their youth. They had to respond, and respond they did. There was primarily a call for the new recreational establishments, the dance halls, bowling alleys, and pool parlors, to require permits in order to operate, which limited, to some extent, the spread of these new morally corruptible establishments. The traditional organizations also began to offer alternatives to the dance halls and theaters that would keep the populace, both young and old, in morally acceptable pursuits. Until that time, establishments such as schools, museums, libraries, and so on had closed for long periods of the year, such as throughout the summer holidays. But now they remained open all year round and began to promote organized activities such as sport, music, games, and drama in a bid to lessen the urge for unacceptable behavior. Schools began to run vacation clubs and an extensive range of extracurricular activities, especially in sports, publications, creating a school newspaper, and hobbies, chess, stamp collecting, and the like. This was also the era when voluntary organizations, such as the Boy Scouts, were set up to encourage healthy, active, and moral pursuits for children. The National Association of Boys was another. The Campfire Girls, the Girl Scouts, were others. Some had roots in the church, such as the St. John's Ambulance and the Boys' Brigade. For young adults, there was the YMCA, the Young Men's Christian Association, another religious group, and the YWCA for women. And there were also community service groups for adults, like the Rotary Club and Lions Club. Another important player at this time was the Playground Association of America. This was a national group led by Luther Halsey Gulick, which had the backing of the U.S. President, Roosevelt. The purpose of this was to assist people of all ages to use their recreation time to good effect. Remember that in the 18th century, children's play was not encouraged. Children would get arrested for playing on the streets together. There were no established parks and playgrounds for children. The Playground Association of America, however, acknowledged that play was important and necessary, and a vital part of children's learning, but that it required effective leadership. The organization worked nationwide to develop playgrounds in towns and cities, and also put on recreational programs, as well as running courses to train adults in effective play leadership.
Answer the exercise and pass me your card. Let's see what you got. So, we finished, guys. I expect your answers. Send them to me. Take your screenshot. And I have to run to the next class. Okay? See you later, guys.
See you, teacher.
See you, teacher.
Bye, guys. Send me your
Bye.
answers. Bye-bye.